Oh yeah, things are getting tasty now. Anyway, as a lot of you know, this is the product that I've been really wanting to get my hands on. I've been really wanting to read up on the rules of the trading card game itself, be able to try to make a deck and be able to have some fun. There's actually 3 different starter sets, and oddly enough, 2 of those starter sets contain Chaos and Pyrus, although in the case of this one, I got Chaos, Pyrus, and Auralus, because that's actually the deck I'm thinking of making. I love the idea of Auralus as being a Bakugan that gives you a beat stick in exchange for one of your attributes, and in exchange it means I can make a much more consistent deck, particularly Chaos and Pyrus, which seem to have really great synergy. Chaos can not only knock over my opponent's evolution cards and gain advantage by having cores, but Pyrus Bakugan can do tons of damage and can actually knock the cores off of my opponent, so those two combined together are going to be really something. And a lot of people are saying if you go with like Aquos or Ventus, I'm going to try Auralus, because Auralus just gives me that nice aggressive beat stick that I can lead with. So, taking a look at the box itself, it also mentions the Baku cores, 40 cards. And it actually features the characters on the back here. As you see, it says Chaos Howl Core, Dragonoid, and Auralus Pegatrix. Although I'm not really going to go too much into the Bakugan that are inside here. Dragonoid is going to get his own video, if you get my drift. So, right now, what I'm mostly focusing on is the contents here and what they have for the card game. Of course, they're also advertising the app Howl Core Transformation 1. It's nice that they're telling you all the Bakugan that are in this starter deck. It keeps you nice and well informed. Start your journey to become the ultimate Bakugan master. So, one thing I notice about this box is it seems like it's designed to be reused. Like it has the nice cardboard flaps into its assembly, not at all unlike the championship set, which was the closest that Spin Master ever got to making something right for Redakai, because it's a lot nicer than the tin, that's for certain, because the set nicely contains everything. Anyway, this set does falter a little bit, though, in how much we can actually stash in here, because once we open it up, that's what we're looking at. We have our 3 Bakugan. Of course, Howl Core comes in a separate piece so that they could use this same other piece of plastic for everything else. We, of course, have a rule book and our deck, but not really any space for any other cards, and definitely not any space for these cards' sleeve. That's something I kind of wish they'd have done. It's something that they do with the Pokemon tins that I really like, is that they could have made this trough here a lot deeper so that you could actually use this as a carrying device, but I guess they have Baku carries to sell. I mean, heaven forbid they should do something nice for the player, but what we're definitely here for... Oh, goodbye, Howl Core. Well, yeah, you can see there's kind of a gap here. It's not like the one on the battle pack that still has a tray underneath so you could hold things in there, but you could still stash some extra stuff in there. I do, for something that feels like it should be a more permanent fixture, I do kind of wish that it came with more of that. But like I said, I'm planning on doing like some full proper videos that aren't just, product unboxings on everything, the toys, the game, the show. I'm going to be doing those in the future. So that's when I'm going to talk about the rules, but let's talk about the cards. Okay, so let's take a look at the actual contents of the deck, and let's start with Pyrus Dragonoid, appropriately enough. Pyrus Dragonoid is a card that is designed to be very aggressive. It has only 200 power, but it has 5 damage, and something to keep in mind is if your Bakugan is the only one that lands, it's treated as an auto win. So Pyrus Dragonoid is meant to be more of a reward for skill when it comes to landing a Bakugan on an actual on a core, because if your opponent fails to do so, they're eating that 5 damage pretty much straight up. Dragonoid actually comes with a Fire Fist and a regular fist, so a lot of people are saying that this Dragonoid is kind of low power, but I think it actually has the potential to be very strong with all that extra damage there. Granted, the Aquos Hydrus is a 206 versus Dragonoid, who's a 205, but Dragonoid currently has one of the strongest evolution cards in the game in the form of Titan Dragonoid, which synergizes with the Dan Kuso hero card to become like Power 3000. It's pretty crazy. So, up next we have Chaos Howl Core Ultra. Now, Chaos Howl Core Ultra, it's an Ultra type, so it actually brings in 2 helixes. So, This is a character, if you want to bring some chaos to the game, this is a pretty good choice. It's 304, which is sort of the reverse of what they had with Garganoid, but if it lands on a Helix, it gets plus 4 damage, so that can actually become 8 damage if you land on a beneficial Helix. And I've actually seen a Helix in this set that gives nothing but bonuses. It's not necessarily a trade-off. The Helixes just seem to cause chaos, so Hellcore Ultra seems like an interesting choice for a deck if you go for it. Although this deck, I've noticed, is kind of low in power so far. It would kind of suffer a bit against decks that have like that 700 Trox or something like that with a good consistent roller. Although for that, we have Aurelus Pegatrix. So Aurelus Pegatrix, it is an Aurelus version of the Chaos Pegatrix that we were showing off before, and it actually has a similar build. It still brings in 2 Green Fist, and if it hits a Green Fist, it gets plus 300B. However, it is a 604, so that is above the power curve, as all Aurelus are, because of that trade-off you're getting. It's certainly a fun card. Let's get into the deck. So, first of all, we have Titan Howlcore Ultra, the Chaos Titan Howlcore Ultra. So this is an evolution card. It's an evolution card I showed off before, and for the cost of 5, you get a 1300 power, 5 damage, and if it lands on a Helix, it gets plus 6 damage. So, remember when I talked about how Diamond Hydorus was basically a joke? Yeah, this thing is nearly as strong as Diamond Hydorus and costs almost half as much, and it's even on an Ultra as well. So, this one, it says RA down here. That's rare, although I have to say right now that doesn't necessarily translate out to rare in the traditional card game sense. For Bakugan, the card game, rare is the same as uncommon in any other game. So these aren't actually the rare cards, they're just the uncommons. So, moving on, we actually get a second copy of Titan Howlcore Ultra. We get 1 copy of Hyper Dragonoid, which is power 400, 6 damage, and if it lands on a Fire Fist, plus 300 power and plus 3 Fist. I don't know how very viable that is, but the fact that you get that little boost there, up to 400, which is starting to get into the slightly competitive range, and that 6 damage for just 1 energy means that if you top deck this guy, you can play him on your first turn. And even if you do evolve him to Hyper Dragonoid, you can actually evolve Bakugan as many times as you need. It kind of works like Neopets, if anybody remembers that old card game where you change a basic Neopet to an experienced Neopet, and you can do that repeatedly as many times as you can. And for final evolution, we have Hyper Pegatrix. We get 2 copies. And this is our evolution for our Aurelus Pegatrix. It's for just 3. For just 3 energy, you get an 1100 6 damage attack that gets another 500 if it lands on a fist. So this is part of the power of Aurelus, is not only do they have really strong starting stats, but they get really strong evolutions to maintain their beat stickiness all the way throughout the game. Like, I see a picture of the Aurelus Pegatrix here, but if they release like Ultra Pegatrix, I still think these cards need text to be a reminder, but Hyper Pegatrix, I think people at the pre-release event were using Hyper Pegatrix a lot because it gets that nice aggressive damage really early on. Alright, so up next we have Inferno Wings. Ooh, a super rare, or it claims to be a super rare. Like I said, in this game, a super rare is the equivalent of a regular rare in this case. And then you have the awesome rare, which are the equivalent of the super rare, and then you have the Bakugan Elite, which are the equivalent of the ultra rare. So in this case, Inferno Wings, plus 300 B power to your current Bakugan for just 3 energy. Remove all Baku cores enemy Bakugan hold and negate their effects. I still don't like the word enemy. That still seems like an awfully strong word. The only time I can really think of it as acceptable is Light Seekers, where they use it to differentiate which player it's talking about. But yeah, this is what I was talking about before. This is a card that kicks the Baku cores off of all of your opponents, so that allows the domination effect that Chaos get to fire more easily. And I assume this includes the Baku core that is on your current opponent. So this is a very strong chill-out card. Pretty good. Up next we have Stand Together. It's a flip card, also super rare, although like I keep saying, that makes it a regular rare. Stop, that's what this little hand means. Stop non-Chaos for 4 energy. So it can, funny thing I've noticed about Aurelus is that there are a bunch of these sorts of flip cards that target specific attributes. None of them target Aurelus. So Aurelus is like a huge, difficult to stop beat stick. Note how it says Domination. If your Bakugan are holding the most Baku cores, this is free. Although, The fact that it costs 4 normally is you know, I still think that's a bit weird. Domination is hard to get. The darkest one, which is the one that Magnus constantly shows off, the Pact of Darkness, is free if you discard a card from your hand. Being able to discard a card from your hand to pay that cost is totally worth it and something you can do most of the time. If you're losing, Stand Together might not even work. So this seems like a really weak entry here. And then we have Philomena Dusk, who kind of reminds me of the evil stepmother from Cinderella, or my Aunt Kate. But yeah, Philomena Dusk is a hero for 6 costs. Domination, if your Bakugan are holding those Bakukors, this costs 3 less to play, and it's just a basic plus 200 B power to your Bakugan. I assume that's to all your Bakugan, otherwise I assume it would have like the proper symbol or something like that. So this is a hero card. This is a card we haven't seen before. Now what a hero card does is they act like an enchantment, in that when you play them, they stay in play for the rest of the game unless they get removed by a card effect, and as a result they offer sort of a permanent bonus. Dan Kuzo is one of these. Winton is also another good one. Leah is also a hero card, but being the fusion of 2 characters, she also costs as much as 2 characters, so she doesn't really seem like a viable card at all, which is a bit of a shame. Although Philomena Dusk has one, the army guy we've seen in a few episodes has one that enhances Chaos's draw power, so these are definitely some cards to look for and look out for. Up next we have the rare card, Hot Potato. Yeah, we only get one of each of the super rare cards, and no elite rares or awesome rares. So Hot Potato is remove an enemy Bakugan's Bakukor and negate its effect. You return the Bakukor onto the field face down. So, Inferno Wings doesn't actually say to return them back to the field. That's something we might need to see a ruling on. Does Inferno Wings return the Bakukors to the field, or does it like permanently kick them from the game? Hot Potato specifically says it returns to the field, so this might be something interesting to bring up to the developers to clarify. But yeah, this is another one that has a kick effect. This one for only 2 energy. It doesn't... Inferno Wings is probably something I'd rather play over Hot Potato. It only costs 1 more, but it also gives me that B power boost that can allow me to pull ahead, so I imagine Inferno Wings will probably see a lot more play over Hot Potato. It's a flat-out better Hot Potato. Still, nice to get this in the starter deck because it does help reinforce the idea of domination, so you get 2 copies of it. Up next we have Consort. Attach a Bakukor from the field to an open Bakugan. So, I'm not quite sure how that works. Does it allow you to throw them on your bench? Does it allow you to attach a Bakukor onto the Bakugan you currently have in battle? That would be pretty cool. That would definitely be useful for the Bakugan like Aurelus Fangzor or Chaos Pegatrix, which benefit from having specific cores attached to it. Like, I would totally use this on my Aurelus Fangzor just to make sure I get that extra damage. It also helps boost Dominate, so that seems like a really good card. We get 2 copies. Up next is Drago's Fury for 2 energy plus 4 damage. That's very cost effective. Fury, if you have no cards in hand, plus Double Strike. So Double Strike is a card that has your Bakugan deal damage twice, and that's another thing I'd like to see a ruling on. So you saw Stop before. If the Pyrus Bakugan starts doing damage and gets hit by a Stop card, does it hit again, or does Double Strike just double the base damage? In fact, I have the rules here. Let me double check that. I probably should do that before I say something stupid. Bakugan deal twice their attack when attacking. So does Double Strike stack with this added damage? So that's an interesting question. Does Double Strike just double the base damage of the Bakugan that's attacking, or does it double all damage? Because doubling all damage seems stupidly overpowered. I imagine it doubles the base, which still works really well with Dragonoid because its base damage is 5. So that's another thing we're going to need a ruling on. The rules, they printed out the rules on like a tiny little piece of toilet paper, so hopefully we can get a more thorough rulebook in the future. At least they didn't print it on the back of a playmat, so that's a step in the right direction. Up next we have Fierce Boost, another Pyrus card. Plus 200 B power for 2 energy. Fury, if you have no cards in hand, plus 600 B power instead. So I guess Pyrus run a little bit like Infernities in that they get additional power if you burn out your hand, which I guess is supposed to happen with a Pyrus deck because it's supposed to be aggressive. You're going to want to play all these cards, which is why you want to keep those cards low cost. You get 2 copies. And Oh yeah, we've moved on to the commons. I think Drago's Fury was the last one that was a rare / uncommon. So now we have Stoic Shot. Draw a card. Domination. If you're Bakugan, hold the most Bakugans. Draw 2 cards instead. 2 energy for a basic cycle. That's pretty nice. Aquos, I believe, gets something similar. Cycles are always nice. That's cycles are basically cards that are drop 2 to draw 1. You get 2. Cycling Warmth. Oh, another... literally using the word cycle right after I talk about the cycle effect. Cycling Warmth. +2 damage, then return this card to the bottom of your deck. So that seems useful. It's not as cost-effective as Drago's Fury, but it's certainly useful in the fact that it immediately goes right back into your life points. Remember, in Bakugan, your deck equals your current life total. You get 2 of them. We have Blinding Glam, a card I've already gone over before, either +3 damage to you or -3 damage off of an opponent. Considering it costs 3, I'm not sure how useful a card this is anymore, especially since our cards that cost 3 that increase damage by like 6. Light's Courage, another one that you get 2 of, +400 B power for 2 energy. Domination, if you're Bakugan, hold the most Bakugans, +800 instead. There is actually another Chaos card that works almost exactly like this, except it's +300 B or +600 for a Chaos Bakugan. There are actually a lot of cards that are good for straight pure Chaos that seem like it would work really well with that card. This card seems interesting because you get the +400 guaranteed instead of the +300, but I think the +600 guarantee on a pure Chaos team makes that card a little bit better. You get 2. Next we have Shine, which for 3 energy gives you +5 damage. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of talking about. So Blinding Glam might not be as powerful as I first thought, because 3 energy for 5 damage is pretty efficient. And now we're on to the flip cards. We have 2 copies of Block Growth, which for 1 energy can stop Ventus or Aquos damage. These aren't too bad. They're really specialized, so you might want to actually mix them in with other types. This is where variety is going to be really beneficial, is with these less expensive stop cards. Although I still insist that there's a card called Halt Pyrus, which stops just Pyrus but does it for free, but because Pyrus is so aggressive and destructive with all that double strike damage, that's something that's probably going to pop up often enough that it's worth using. Block Outsiders, that is Pyrus, which blocks all non-Pyrus. We got Drago chilling off in a hot tub here. They were showing off this card on the Bakugan Twitter, I know, for so much. But yeah, stop all non-Pyrus for 3 energy. That's similar to the one I was showing you before, only it costs 1 point less, but does not have an alternative casting cost. Oh, I guess I wasn't done with the flips. Next we have Molten Helix, +2 damage and double strike. Now, this costs 4 for just +2 damage. Remember how Strength of Maxitor was 4 energy for 8 additional damage. So, like I said, we'll have to get a ruling on how double strike works, whether it doubles all damage or just doubles the base damage. Alright, and here is Halt Outsiders. This is the Chaos version of Block Outsiders. You'll notice that each attribute has its own basic keyword for the block cards, and these block cards consist of a lot of the cards in this base set. This base set is nearly 400 cards if you include all the character cards in it as well, although keep in mind that the character cards are going to be released over the course of the year, so it's going to be kind of a slow-going set, but there are going to be a lot of these cards that are just block-specific characters. So this is another one, 3 energies, block all non-Chaos. Halt Unknown, 1 energy, block stop Darkus or Aquos. You get 2 of them. And then we have 2 copies of Magma Boost, which for 4 energy gives you +700 B power. Still not quite as efficient as the Inferno Wings card, because the Inferno Wings card gives you +300 and also knocks off the opponent's core. So that also can give you some more benefit there as well. And then we have Meteoric Lance, a card you've taken a look at before, for 5 energy for +11 damage. That's the thing. If this thing is able to stack with double strike, that is like half of somebody's life points on this one card alone. That's why I feel we should get a ruling on double strike, because that seems like if it could be comboed with this card, that would just be insane. Alright, so that's a look at the starter deck. It comes with 3 rares. Well, let's double check. It comes with 3 super rares. It comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It comes with 11 uncommons / rares, and the rest of those would logically be the other 26 would be commons. I'm just double checking here to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so 3 rares, 11 uncommons, and 26 commons. So that's what you're getting in a starter deck. I kind of wish that it had included at least one elite rare, because, you know, that's actually one of the reasons that people like to buy these starter decks, is they get those guaranteed rare cards, and to get just 3 rares in a starter deck is a little bit weak, especially for a starter deck that costs $30. I'm still gonna say that that's probably the one thing that Spin Master can improve right away, is being a bit more generous with the cards that come in these super expensive sets. So this actually means that that diamond hider as I got was technically an uncommon. If they had something like a unique card in here or something like that, because keep in mind, people will buy multiples of a deck if it's guaranteed to get them some good cards. I mean, Inferno Wings is definitely a really good card. Philomena Dusk might have some uses, but I'm definitely going to be mixing in some of the cards like Song of Fire and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a quick look at the starter deck. It also comes with the 6 Baku cores, of course. We have the double helixes for Howl Core. One of them is plus 300 B power, and the other one is plus 3 damage. So that's just a flat-out huge boost off of the helix. And then we have this helix, which is plus 1 Frost. Now what this does is it actually makes flip cards cost more. So that really only comes into effect if you successfully deal any damage. Up next we have the Fist and Fire Fist that come with Dragonoid. And the Fire Fist gives plus 150 B power and plus 4 damage. Again, very aggressive. And the Fist gives plus 1 damage. And then we have the 2 fists that come with Aurelus Pegatrix. One is plus 150 B power and plus 2 damage, which is like a less aggressive version of this card. And the other one, they're both the same. Okay. Maybe one of these was meant to be for Drago. But anyway, that gives us a good look at the starter deck. Like I said, I'm going to take a look at the game. I might modify this deck a little bit, try to get some booster packs before I really get started on this. So, until next time, this is Kodak signing off. Bakugan.